Hello and welcome to the Watchers Brawl. We're here tonight again with two amazing matches. I'm Man of Class. I'll be, one of the commentators tonight for you. And I'm joined today by Shy Guy. But how are you doing tonight, Shy Guy?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful. I got my first chance to cast some of these games last night and just had to come back for more today. And I cannot wait for what we have in store.
Hey, that's obviously what we're here for the actual matches that we have in store. It's going to be Butterfly Effect versus BarahNOW and Overwatch. I think that's what we're going for at this point. And yeah, I don't know personally a lot about these teams. I think they're both new to the Watchers Brawl as well. It's the first game they're playing, so we don't have any previous footage. So it's gonna be a good one. And I think today we should be starting out on the wonderful map of Lijiang. So start with, of course, no hero bans, nothing in the works. It's gonna be a best of 5, but after the first map, that's where it's gonna get interesting, and that's where really the teams are gonna have to think a little bit more about what they're gonna do. How did you find that? Those map bans, map picks, the hero bans, and saves.
It definitely makes things more interesting. This is the first event that I have ever casted where those have been in play, and it really changed up the dynamics of how teams play around with those. The hero bans especially I think are really impactful. Last night I saw Lucio get banned out twice, and that completely changes the game, especially in this kind of 3-3 meta that has been dominant for quite a while. So there's a lot of interesting things that teams can do to play to their strengths and really take advantage of the unique format that we've got here.
Okay. So did you also feel that the hero saves did much, or were those less impactful?
I mean, it definitely makes a difference if you have something in mind that you're playing around. But there's still, at that point, you've got so many other heroes to work with for the enemy team to ban that it can be easy to still throw someone off their game even after the save has come through. But it definitely makes a difference. You can save kind of a pocket pick for one of your players, make sure that they're going to be able to play a hero that they are especially adept on. So that's a very fun thing to watch, to see what teams really value in their team comps.
Yeah, like I've personally been very interested in seeing where the meta's going currently. Of course, in the Overwatch League, we still see a lot of goats. It's actually increasing a little bit more. There were teams experimenting, but it didn't actually pay off for them as much. So they're just back to the good old 3-3. We're gonna go into stage playoffs soon, so we'll see what happens there. But I always like watching these teams because they're still, they're high rank. We're just still talking about the upper tier of Overwatch, just not they don't get paid for it. That's different. Although maybe they win the tournament, you get some prize money. It's always nice. But yeah, so these teams, they have a little bit more of an own identity to create here in a meta, or at least in an environment that doesn't involve teams practicing 8 hours a day, scrimming one composition only. So they have a lot more chances, and especially with their hero bans as well, to put a lot more variety on the board, and they also have to be prepared for that. So we see bunker comps come out, we see DPS comps come out, we see variations of goes come out that might be a little bit odd. The other day, it wasn't a Watchers Brawl. The other day I casted a game where on Lijiang Control Center, which we might actually get soon, a team was playing the Reaper and the Mei. So they played the Reinhardt Zarya, they played the Ana, the Lucio, I believe. And then they had the main Reaper. And it's obviously something we've seen before. Even Dallas Fuel has run it at some point. But it was something that was just a little bit refreshing. You saw it again, and I actually won the map with it. So that was pretty fun.
That's kind of a throwback comp right there more than anything. It goes back to the old days. I mean, that we probably haven't... That used to kind of be a meta in and of itself for a while when Beyblade was at its peak, back when Nano Boost gave you a speed boost as well. The Reaper was a force to be reckoned with. It, of course, has kind of fallen out of favor over the last year and a half, 2 years at this point, but it can still find value in certain situations when you can get into those close quarters, like Lijiang Control Center, like maybe a map like Village on Nepal. There are places where the Reaper can still be a really impactful hero.
Yeah, I will say this wasn't in the Diamond division of the Rose League, so it wasn't the same level of play that you normally see. But there was still some Beyblade play going on. Not exactly on the Lijiang Control Center, actually later on a different map. But we're going to start out with Lijiang Gardens here. I personally love this map. but I've been having some problems with the control game mode in general. And you'll see that happening soon. Is when the one team will win the first fight. Like that's gonna happen. It is always what will happen. And if they win it really decisively, they'll have these very it's two distinct angles and two chokes, either environmental or just because it's a door. That the enemy team will have to attack them from. And the defender's advantage on this map in particular is so strong that is why so many teams have started to run DPS comps. Because they have the mobility to just get through the middle as well, and they don't only have to go over the bridge, and they can already do damage before they get over it. So a Ghost composition just has too much to deal with before they get there, and I think that's also why you see them go for these DPS comps, especially on the blue side right now. They have this lined up: the Lucio, the Mercy, and triple DPS and a Wrecking Ball. We've seen it in pro play, we've seen it everywhere else. Sometimes you see an Ana with it, but with this composition, they have no backup.
No, that's definitely true. They're going to be kind of a roving, band of heroes trying to secure kills, and on the other side, kind of a variation on the 3-3 instead, with the Sombra in the lineup instead of the D.Va now. So that's a decent look to shut down all these DPS if they can get the hacks in and if they can avoid losing Switch, but that's not going to happen. Icy Suspect grabs the first pick off the trades back and forth right now. But it is going to be Barah up or down a healer at the moment, so they're going to have a hard time sustaining through this fight. They are trying to make it happen right now. They've just taken up their place on the point. They've got the Moira back in this, but Switch goes down immediately once again. Icy Suspect just has the healer's number on the other side and is now moving towards the rest of the team. Takes down MD. The early barrage is going to be enough for them to get the cleanup.
It was a nice first fight, and it looked to go like more easily in the favor of Butterfly Effect, but it took him a little bit longer. But at least they did build up some ultimates. Icy Suspect had to use his, but that's okay. He'll build it back up with all these high health targets. And Switch did go down early, but then came back to the fight. It was a little bit scrappy, but in the end, they got their percentage ticking up, so they're going to be happy with that. Although they are behind on EMP charge on the red side, and that's I think their main concern, that they need to keep that EMP charging quickly.
Icy Suspect this time taking down Nub. If he can continue to have this kind of impact, stopping the healers before they even have a chance to really engage, then that's going to make life very easy for Butterfly Effect as they continue to hold this point. The EMP comes out, and most of the members of Barah are going to be hacked up. They do manage to sustain through it a little bit with this rally. The Coalescence now out from Switch as well. Can they find any kills, though? The stun in onto Icy Suspect, but he can just kind of float away, escape with the Mercy to back him up. And this is finally starting to go in the direction of the attackers. They unleash an EMP of their own along with that sound barrier. They have fully pushed Butterfly Effect off of this point. They are going to get the retake as soon as they can deal with Wolf. He's getting batted around by the Primal Raging Crimson. And the stall has actually been pretty good from Butterfly Effect. They're getting this up to about 70% before the flip finally comes through.
Yeah, but 70% in the way these fights are usually going, that will mean that if they win one fight, they're likely going to just be up to the 100 or 99%. So there isn't much wiggle room here for the side of BarahNation. And they don't even have that many ultimates to work with. On the other side, there's going to be a barrage. There's going to be a sound barrier. EMP is very close. Pulse pump charge is ridiculously fast. So they'll be there pretty quickly to fight and overwhelm them.
Yes, but what is the point of entry for Butterfly Effect? It's going to be the barrage from Icy Suspect, but he gets nothing for it. He's taken down immediately. They still manage to trade in their favor right now. Everything going forward for Butterfly Effect, or at least the trades are slightly in their direction. Wolf coming in with the pile driver does manage to take down MD2, and now gets Crimson as well. The tank line gone for BarahNation, and they're going to have to retreat. They're going to have to try to regroup and come back in here for one last attempt at a retake.
Yeah, and they managed to get Potato late, but Potato was farming up that EMP for a long time. So it's almost up to that 90% mark, which basically means they'll have it in the next fight. And they'll have some more ultimates as well. I think they have basically everything. That 70-75% mark, you can expect them to get that mid-fight in most cases.
Yeah, but Bam Bam has the EMP too. He's going to go in with it early. but completely misses. He hit nobody on the side of BarahNation, and now they're coming in force. Potato almost up to the EMP of his own. The Coalescence out from Switch kept them alive through most of that fight. They have the advantage on the point right now. AC Fan and Wolf down out of the fight. How can Butterfly Effect get back into this one? It doesn't look like it's going to happen here. They too are going to have to try to make it happen one more time. One fight for them will secure the first stage.
Yeah, but they have to win one fight, but they have about 2, maybe even 3 fights to win that fight in. So they have a little bit more wiggle room as well again, and they're charging up to their ultimates pretty quickly. The only one who's a bit far away is Wolf. But Wolf's ultimate is not as impactful as all the others. So if a good EMP comes out, if a good sound barrier comes out, I think the main thing we're looking for is, are any EMPs going to counter the sound barriers? That's going to be very decisive in these fights.
Yeah, Potato has his, and Atrality's not yet up to that sound barrier, but Wolf going down early is not the recipe for success for Butterfly Effect. They're trying to find a way into this fight, but it's not going to happen. They're down 3 members already. They need to just die quickly and regroup for one last second fight, but they're getting chased down. Icy Suspect dies late, and now Wolf is going to have to be the one to touch desperately at the end. He goes in really early. He should have waited a little bit longer to try to trigger at the very end. Gonna get deleted, and now that might be it for Butterfly Effect.
Yeah, the EMP just completely denies everything there. It was just the Sombra pick in general from Potato was just very powerful. It's just it just denies so much of what they want to do. Wolf has basically had no impact whatsoever, constantly hacked up by Potato, and everyone else, Bam Bam as well, has been counter hacked by Potato. So the Sombra pick really shuts down what this triple DPS competition wants to do, especially for the point contest, because that's all the Hammond wants to do. So they might have been wiser to switch off to a Winston D.Va themselves, do something else. You'll still have a lot of DPS there, but not quite the same triple DPS, because it was really looking very problematic for them the way the Potato was playing.
Yeah, Potato getting massive value out of the Sombra pick. Bam Bam, not so much on the other side. His EMPs were a little lackluster and never got to use the last one that he built up to. So they are going to make some kind of wholesale swaps coming into Control Center, which makes sense. You're probably not going to be running the triple DPS here.
Oh, and obviously Goats versus Maygoats. And what I really want to see here is, are they going to go through mid or are they going to go through server? If they go through server, they run the risk of running into that wall. They know they won't. Because they're playing against the May. They don't have the May of their own, so they're not going to go for the wall battle. But they still got walled off. It's no use.
Yeah, they still push just a little bit too far forward, and MD punishes them immediately with that wall, puts it right behind Icy Suspect, cuts him off from the healers behind him, and isolates the Zarya for an easy fight win for the side of BarahNation.
And you see teams do this. You see teams now not running through that server room anymore. They will always just rotate to point, but then they usually rotate even wider than they did, because there's no choke point. But there was a choke point where they went. Well, this time, not as successful, so they're able to rotate further. They'll go to the point. Will likely have a little bit of an advantageous position here.
Yeah, they've got the high ground at the moment. They're trying to isolate people, but Dirty Prince gonna go down early. The focus fire from BarahNation is too strong. They clean up onto Wolf and Icy Suspect as well, and that's just more time for BarahNation to keep building up this percentage. They didn't have to use any ultimates in that fight.
I was gonna say, it's not just time, it's all the ultimate charge they're giving up, because they've barely got anything. They're close to Shatter, they have a Transcendence, but like a Graviton and a Blizzard, they can be used, they don't even have to be used simultaneously, and then you still have the Shatter. There's so much fight win potential.
The Earth Shatter just a little bit mistimed from Crimson there into the wall of MD, but they use the grab as well. The Blizzard, they are going to make sure that they win this fight. They are not going to give up this point, and not too bad in the end. When they still hold on to 3 ultimates at the end of this fight. Nub almost up to a sound barrier as well. They're still in a very good spot.
I see Suspect not even getting close to the Graviton. They really got to change their approach somehow, and they got to get around this May wall and just smack into it. They might even want to use their own May just to get through the other May wall, block out the wall. You can see already MD on the left side, standing there, ready for it. Missed the wall though.
Yeah, this time he's a little bit early, throws out the Blizzard immediately, but they just kite back. A couple of them are frozen up, and Icy Suspect will go down. The Earth Shatter from Crimson gives them some room to work with, but Bam Bam finding something with his self-destruct, takes down Nub, and now things might be going in Butterfly FX direction. The Transcendence from Switch wants to change that, and the grab from Potato as well. The back cap coming through for Butterfly FX in the middle of that fight, but they're still getting cleaned up off the back of it. Are they going to have a chance to keep this one going?
Yeah, and Wolf is being so aggressive, but rarely gets anything for the use of that charge ability and all the other things. I think if they play around Wolf a little bit more, and Wolf doesn't try to carry the team on his back as much, I think they will have a little bit of a better chance, because Wolf gets punished very hard for his positioning and his aggression.
Yeah, he's trying to contest that choke point, and there were a couple times he went for some ambitious charge plays that might have cost his team. We'll see if they can clean up some of this on the next map as they try to deal with Barah Nation's unrelenting aggression.
Yeah, of course we're gonna go to a different map. We're gonna go to different heroes, because we're gonna actually exclude heroes from being able to be played. So it's very possible that this matchup that we've seen is not going to happen anymore. But again, as I alluded to before, on some control maps, you have this first defender advantage, where if you win that first fight, you're gonna be, just because of the map geometry, you're gonna be a very hard time pushing in. And it's not just a very hard time pushing in; it's also you have like a limited time. You don't have that 4 minutes you get on other map types. That was really something still happening there. That won that first fight, and after that, they could just stand in that choke, and they always had ACC ultimate to block them out. And I mean that makes control so hard, but it also makes control sort of unpredictable sometimes, because you don't know what the other team's gonna run. So sometimes you see teams go back to spawn and switch, or sometimes to try to fight anyways. And there's all these things happening where it's not as clear cut as on some other maps. It's just hard to make adjustments on the fly. You don't have the time. You will never be able to have that time to properly have 2 or 3 fights to turn the ultimate advantage around, because by that time you'll have already will have lost. So Butterfly Effect, he's got a little bit unlucky with the way that worked out. Also, obviously it was not just luck, it's also just nice play from Barah Nation, but that's something you will see on control maps sometimes. So that's why it's not always indicative of how the series is going to go. So,
right. So it's a very swingy game type. If you win the first fight convincingly, you can absolutely just kind of take over from there. And that's exactly what we saw in Control Center, especially with the Mei that Barah Nation were running. It just becomes so difficult to push into that defensive setup that they had at the choke points with all the ultimates that they had on the line towards the end of that round. It was really, really kind of a masterclass from Barah there in how you lock down a point like that on control and close out Lijiang Tower in style there. So now we're headed over to our second map of the night, where we're still waiting to figure out exactly what that is, as we just got our map ban coming through. Barah does not want to play Paris.
I mean, I can imagine. Although, with that Mei play, and he could do that on the first point as well. It's not a very wide choke. Even on second, there's a lot of points you could use the Mei. But I mean, I can imagine. It's a pretty new map. A lot of people are not really fans of it because of the spawn distances, which are bigger than some other assault maps. So it's understandable, but it's still a shame. It looks lovely.
It's a beautiful map, but it is in my mind it is the worst map.
It has some problems. It has some problems. I will agree on that one, but
yeah, I absolutely.
We're gonna go to Eichenwald though. So
ooh, okay, yeah. I like that.
That is a better one. That is not one that we're not so sure about. That's something we're definitely sure about.
Yeah, I love Eichenwald. This is easily one of my favorite maps in the game, from start to finish. Really entertaining to watch. And now I'm very interested to see where this goes with our hero saves and bans here. We're about to hear from Barah in terms of what hero they want to make sure they have in the pool.
Yeah, which hero in their mind just is key to the Barah Nation? I don't know. I mean, they can give citizenship to one of the 30 characters, and they will do so. But I'm curious which one they're gonna go for, because yeah, they could just go for the Lucio because they apparently like to play 3-3 variations, or at least a tank heavy variations and support heavy variations. So a Lucio, for instance, could be a good save. On the other hand, that sort of gives away what you want to do as well. So maybe you want to say something else. They do go for that Lucio save.
The Oracle Man of Class.
It was the easy predict. I mean, if there's one thing that you definitely need in that 3-3 composition or to make it work and get places, you kind of need that Lucio. The only other way it's going to work is if you play only mobile tanks and mobile supports and DPS with it. And then it's not really a 3-3 anymore. So you need that Lucio for the AoE heal, for the speed boost, for the sound barrier. Like, there's just so much that's good about him that works for that composition that you kind of have to do it. So they're gonna save the Lucio. They're gonna start on defense. On defense, though, I haven't seen as much 3-3 or variations of it. Most of the things you see for defense and Eichenwald involve Pharahs and DPS type of things, maybe Orissas, maybe even bunker compositions, but a pure 3-3 or variation on that to deal with the Pharah, for instance, not as popular. So we'll see what they're gonna go with. The Butterfly Effect is not gonna ban a hero, and this is gonna be, this is gonna get interesting, because it could be a Mei that they want to ban because it's so good in Eichenwald, but only on first point. So instead they're like, what works on the part of the map? What do we maybe not want to play? It's the D.Va. D.Va will be able to eat Pharah rockets and barrages. D.Va will be able to deny a lot of value from Reinhardt's, from a lot of other heroes as well. So I think it's wise to ban the D.Va. It's certainly not a problem for me, but maybe they could have gone with something else. I don't know. It's these are very standard saves and bans.
Yeah,
it's nothing too out of the ordinary.
It's interesting. I mean, if Butterfly Effect is trying to force us away from kind of the 3-3 meta, then I think the D.Va is actually a pretty solid pick there. Perhaps more so than any other one hero. I think it's one of the only ones that you have a hard time kind of subbing in one for one with a different hero on the roster. Zarya probably the other one. Of course, the Lucio was for sure going to be around. So now how are both of these teams kind of pick around the limitations that they've got?
I see Pharah's coming out here. Like I said, D.Va's very good at dealing with Pharah. Pharah is amazing on the first point of Eichenwald to attack it. Not so much in second and third. The third is a bit too enclosed. Second is a bit too open for sniper sightlines. But on first, you have this wonderful clock tower. You have a few other buildings that you can probably hide behind, just peek and shoot at snipers, at tanks, or whatever you want to shoot at. So, yeah, I'm counting on a Pharah coming out here. And we already saw that IC Suspect had a pretty damn good Pharah in him. So I would not be opposed to that. I think that's why the D.Va ban is especially strong. What I am afraid of is that they want to go for another Wrecking Ball type of composition. And on the defense, they could be ready for that with a Sombra. Of course, I could be wrong. Could be something completely different coming out. But, that is something I will say. Looks like they might want to go for snipers and a Rodok Orisa.
Interesting. The kind of bunker comp here.
Yeah, so like the snipers I understand, because you're so I would say most teams will expect a Pharah to come out, based on that D.Va ban. Something you can see happening. Another reason why I think the Hanzo might be good is that if you run it with a Rein Zarya, you could maybe have a Graf Dragon combo, which neither can be eaten. And you don't have the D.Va to combo with normally. But yeah, the Rodok Orisa is the one that sort of seems a bit odd to me, because I don't think mobile compositions are particularly phased out by that.
No, not necessarily, but the bunker has been kind of gaining popularity in recent times, so it's not too shocking to see that. But as you kind of mentioned just a little bit ago, it is going to be the Wrecking Ball on the other side from Wolf.
Not a problem. There's no Sombra on the other side. I think he'll do much better now. We will have to watch out for the Roadhog a little bit, though. I see suspecting that position straight away, though. That's nice. Around that clock tower. No snipers there.
And already 2 picks coming through for the defenders. Icy Suspect trying to make something happen in the sky, but he no longer has his Mercy available to him. His main tank is gone as well. So he's just going to have to try to hightail it out of there. Will escape with his life in the end, but not a whole lot of progress there for Butterfly Effect.
Oh, Chinese food. Potato wasn't there yet. They had a small window to go in, but they just the pharmacy just gets taken out straight away. That's not good. They need to get it. Bam Bam needs to be farming that EMP more. He's just walking around invisibility. There's no problem. You can just start shooting at things and you just translocate out every single time. This is downtime. You need to use the farm. Bam Bam is not doing it. I think that's what's going to bite them in the behind a little bit.
He finally goes in for some poke there, forced to translocate away pretty quickly. And now it's become a very strange attack from Butterfly Effect. They've got 3 members behind enemy lines in a Trollity, Bam Bam, and Wolf, while the rest of the team tries to make their way through the choke, and it's just not happening right now. The coordination is a little bit off. They haven't managed to really go in as a unit, even once yet.
I think a big problem was that Dirty Prince just really can't get any shots off through his shield, and then MD just walks forward, hooks him. It's just not that hard to hook in most situations. So now they won't have a static backline. Nothing will be static. Everything will have mobility. But the whole hook again working out.
Yeah, but the barrage gonna interrupt that party. Icy Suspect does get both healers in the back line, and gets rezzed up in the end, but still kills going back and forth right now. It's just MD left on the point. He's gonna unleash this whole hog. That's an interesting call when you're dealing with a Tracer and a Pharah on the other side. Eventually, he will go down, and Butterfly Effect overwhelm in the end and punch their ticket through point A.
I'm curious whether MD wants to switch off the hog here, maybe? Doesn't look like it, but this Orisa hog is going to have more and more trouble as further we get through the map, because that's a very static point defense. But now they're have to reposition often and like a lot. Bam Bam will be ready with this EMP. Maybe Wolf goes up, use the minefields, and the EMP comes out, stuff like that. There's combos now. There's even you can just go in with a pulse bomb to start it off, see if you can get a pick. No, why not?
Yeah, but now Potato is really starting to reign supreme with all the incredible sightlines that you mentioned earlier, is forcing Icy Suspect back. MD will finish the job there, and they've retaken this cart right at the first choke point. Wolf does get 1 kill with his mines, but that's all he can really hope for at this point. Although it does delay the switch being in this fight, so not a terrible situation for Butterfly Effect. Now that the bunker is down on the high ground.
I want to see the switch from Icy Suspects. I don't think you want to stay on the Pharah. You might want to go for a Hanzo or anything else, but Potato has way too easy of a sight line on the Pharah all the time.
Now he's definitely been making Icy Suspect's life difficult so far. The Valkyrie coming out early is going to give Icy Suspect some backup as he goes straight for Potato, makes a beeline for the sniper, and takes him down. The kill is traded onto Wolf, but Nub has found himself in an awkward spot, will go down, and that is probably going to be it for the defense. Although MD trying to make things happen, managing to hook Icy Suspect out of the air. The supercharger out now from Crimson is giving their attacks a little bit of extra punch, but still they continue to fall. They eventually get pushed back, and now the swaps really, in my mind, need to happen for the side of BarahNation.
Nah, everything's been coming up MD though. MD has been doing so much work on this Roadhog, and still, with this entire abyss here next to the bridge, you can just hook people off the cliff. I don't think a lot of people on this team will actually be able to be hooked off the cliff and die. Like, most of them have the ability to get back up if they're prepared for it. But, ooh, that EMP is nice.
It hits 3 members on the side of BarahNation as they try to recontest. Crimson among them. He goes down along with Potato. And now it might all be over for Butterfly Effect. MD trying to be the savior. With this whole hog does take down AC Fan, but that's about all he's going to be able to accomplish as the payload rolls through. Captures point B, and now things get interesting as we get into the final checkpoint on this map, where neither of these teams really have kind of an optimal comp at the moment.
Well, I think actually the more optimal comp is on the side of the defense here. So again, I want the offense to switch off. It doesn't matter you have a barrage if you can't get into position to shoot it. Because Potato's on the McCree now. You don't have that much places to go. The shield's in a proper position. You even get EMP'd now. Yeah, it's this is gonna be rough for them if they're gonna keep running this comp, because there's no mobility's nice if you have a nice and open area to be mobile in, but there's no nice and open area inside that castle. So you need to have something that's linear. You need to have something that just deals with corridors. and they don't really have that right now. So I want to see them switch to something else, but what it will be, that's going to be the question.
And Wolf yet again getting hacked up. This time the sound barrier has to be there to save him, but it also gives Icy Suspect the chance to go for a barrage without having to worry about it. He takes down Crimson, and now without the shield there to help them, the remaining members of Barah Nation have fallen. They're gonna have to come back in here for a last second recontest. And Bam Bam has this EMP that could spell disaster for the defenders.
The EMP has to be good, and it is good. And it's almost everyone here. This could be a very quick end, but they still need to get the kills here.
It doesn't hit Crimson, though, so the shield and the supercharger come out, capitalizes on MD's whole hog. So much power out of that combo with the damage he can pour out. They managed to stabilize, and now finally Butterfly Effect are making the swaps you were looking for.
I think the EMP came out a little bit early. I mean, they were still barely leaving spawn, so they were in a pretty good position to just be behind walls and everything. So the follow-up couldn't quite be there. And I think in general that's kind of the problem with their composition, or was from their composition. They couldn't really follow up any EMPs properly with what they had in close quarters. And now you see what happens
EMPs,
when... Yeah.
Chinese food hits all 6 members, but they only get 2 kills off of it, so a decent retreat there from the side of Butterfly Effect to kind of limit the damage, avoid giving a ton of ult charge over to the enemy team, and they're going to have one last chance to get back in here to recontest at the end. 15 seconds remaining. They've got to avoid like a crucial hack or something. They engage with the sound barrier, do the defenders, and they are finding all kinds of success with that. The rip tire, just for giggles here at the end. It is all over at this point, and that is as far as Butterfly Effect are going to be able to push.
Yeah, it was an interesting attack and an interesting defense. Both teams, pulling out something. I think the composition of Butterfly Effect was running is more sort of more recognized. I guess that's fine. A lot of people do, especially on the first point. I think, the Forest, even though it got some value still, they would have probably gotten more value from I wouldn't say anything else, but just another DPS. Maybe a Hanzo, maybe a Junkrat even, because Junkrats at least can walk behind the shield a little bit more. They could have definitely benefited from a Reiner a little bit earlier, because I don't think Wolf got a lot of value out of that Hammond in the end there. And same could be said for some other heroes that maybe got some poke damage in here and there, and maybe finished off a target here and there. But a lot of other heroes could have done the same thing, while still being sustainable and viable when that final fight happened. But when their only EMP hit, and they couldn't actually follow up on that damage because they couldn't get close and sustain their own damage. Even if everyone's hacked on the defense, they still do a lot of damage on close range. That's what they operated in with that Hog, with that Orisa. And the Tracer just doesn't want to walk up to that. So that kind of went wrong for them there. But they almost got it to the end, and I think it's definitely not that bad. Honestly, that's how that works. But
yeah, I mean, they did pretty well through the first 2 points and finally got slowed down, which is what we see a lot of times on Eichenwald.
Yeah.
Regardless of what the comps teams are running, things got a little bit interesting towards the end, because normally that's where you see teams instantly swap to goats, but the Diva ban is making its presence felt, especially now with Icy Suspect still on the Pharah. Chinese food this time potentially going to match that pick and go for the aerial battle.
Yeah, but I like seeing the defensive Pharah. They don't run the Mercy with it, which I might not be completely in agreement with. But then Anes and Yata can be a very helpful duo, both in the damage and in the defensive department. So that could work out well for them. You have the Nano Boost, the Transcendence, Discord Orb in general, just nice. The Anti-Nade. You already see the damage being pumped out straight away.
Yeah, and they do manage to get a couple of quick kills there. As soon as the shield goes down, it is free reign for the members of Butterfly Effect to just fire on in there. And this offensive setup is going to have a hard time pushing forward. Crimson on the offensive Orisa is at a severe disadvantage. His shield is going to get melted like paper, and he can't really reposition very well.
Yeah, this is really what I want to see MD do well. MD did very well on the defense, but I mean, it's easy to hook people when they walk into you, but as you can see, it's not that easy to walk into people in order to hook them. Which is exactly what's happening to MD2 right now. Like he has to walk into the Orisa shield. He has to time it right. When the shield breaks, then hook them before he gets hooked himself.
That's huge. Potato gets icy suspect. Yeah. And no because of the no mercy, like you mentioned, there's no res available, so they're fighting at a 65 disadvantage. Potato gonna take down Atrality as well. This is turning into a disaster. The biotic grenade denying any healing that was coming out from the side of Butterfly Effect. They're getting swarmed on all sides. And finally, BarahNation are going to be able to push through here. It takes them a few tries to do it, but the last one was incredibly clean.
I think they haven't really practiced that rotation backwards a lot, because the shield placements out of Wolf was a little bit off. I think if you want to rotate back there, you need to have a wider shield placement, so Potato cannot get those cross angles off as easily. At least you want to make him use his hook shot for that. But you know, the grapple hook didn't come out because it wasn't necessary. He could just walk to the new angle. Now has the Infocyte, might actually just switch off because he's in spawn. Yeah, Potato's gonna switch off. It's now on a Sombra. Logical pick. Icy Suspect still on the Pharah though, so Barrage is just gonna go unpunished probably.
Yeah, but speaking of punish, MD very long after that last fight ended manages to take down Atrality, punishes the positioning from the enemy Zenyatta, and is now taking control of high ground. Wolf and Dirty Prince trying to contest him, but he's got the Nano Whole Hog. He's gonna take them both down easily with that combo of ultimates. They're gonna get Atrality as well. This is an insane amount of basically free movement on this card.
MD is just, like, this hog of MD has just been shutting down everything they want to do. On the first point, it was Potato, just running in with that Widow, and now it's just MD again, just as on the defense, just keeps hitting the hooks, the whole hogs keep getting value, and they're just not dealing with him. You either need to properly ignore him so he can't do anything, or you need to do something. And MD is not there right now, but he gets a hook anyways. I don't know what's happening anymore. This is so scrappy.
Yeah, he wrapped around on the flank and did take down Atrality once again, but it's not going to be enough. As Barah was fighting at a disadvantage there. They had lost Potato early on in that fight, and were not able to get the advantage back in their favor. So they will have to regroup. They're still sticking with the same comp, which is hard because they've got so much ground to cover before they're even on the cart, but they get a nice hook onto Wolf and he's gonna go down. MD, just a monster right now.
Yeah, Wolf is really, but I mean, MD is walking around with Potato now, and Potato constantly hacks the Hammond. There's really not much he can do against Rotocooks, but they gotta stop peeking the guy. They keep just looking at him, and it's like, okay, I'll press shift. That's fine. He already kills 2 before the fight even starts. Transcendence does save a lot of people here, and they do get a kill on Potato on Chinese food, so there is still some opportunity to come back here.
And the EMP coming out from Bam Bam, only gonna find 2. One of them is Potato, who falls immediately. MD now hit with that pulse bomb, which cannot secure the kill. Takes a breather. He keeps on chugging, and they've just got to find these last couple of kills. Wolf trying to swing his way to victory on the cart, doing his best to keep this one going for the defenders, but it's not gonna be enough. BarahNation cruise into point B, and now they've got a little over 3 minutes to work with.
It's one of these situations where this is one of those times where I say he can't keep getting away with it, and they're letting MD get away with it because they're you either ignore him with the entire team and just ball up, fight together, or you all focus him. You cannot send 1 or 2 people after him because he doesn't lose those 1v1s or 1v2s. It doesn't happen. He hooks the first one, then sustains, that wins. And again, Wolf is so far out on his own.
And this time he gets EMP'd and taken down by the Nano MD. The Hog able to do an insane amount of damage per shot when he's got that Nano boost. And they are just cleaning up the members of Butterfly Effect. No one can even get to the point in time to stall things out. And that's going to be BarahNation taking a second map here and putting themselves on match point.
Like, I've seen this happen before, where might have actually been... It was a different tournament. It was actually in Europe was a tournament. And there was a team that was running a Roto Garissa in the grand finals. And they did very well with it. Because teams are, 1, not used to playing it anymore, and 2, people are sort of have this image about Roadhog that he is not that good. you know, sure, he can hook you every once in a while, but that's about it. Other than that, he just feeds. And you sort of saw that Butterfly Effect was treating MD like, oh, he'll just feed. That's about what he does. But he hooks way too many people for them to still try the same thing. They need to change up that tactic of you either all go after him because he just keeps flanking, or when he starts to flank, which you know he's going to do, run to the rest of their team with 6 because he'll never be able to keep up with you. He's a Roadhog. He's not that quick. You have a mobile composition. You have an opportunity to have a 6v5, but instead you're choosing to go with a 5v5 and then one going to the Roadhog, which duel was lost every single time. So I don't know. They need to change something up there, I think.
And one thing that probably could have helped them in that matchup might have been having a D.Va, having someone there to stick with your healers, use the defense matrix to stop those hooks from finding a lot of value. That's one option that you have to at least limit, you know, MD's effectiveness in that situation. But it wasn't available to them thanks to their hero ban.
Yeah, they did it to themselves. I mean, you could make that argument because their own mistake, but
they waited too long in my mind to swap over onto at least a shield tank. Wolf really seems to love sticking with this wrecking ball. He is willing to ride or die with this hero, and so far it has been more dying.
Yeah. That's proper analysis that we're doing here, obviously. But hey, they get to select another map. Dorado has been banned, so we can't go to Dorado, but there's still a lot of other maps and tools. We could go to 2CP, go back to Control. We could go to the other escort map. We're not allowed to go back to the other hybrid. So that's the one thing we can't do. Which makes sense. You know, you want to have as much map variety, map type variety as possible. So it's possible they're gonna pick a map that is, you know, Control again. But seeing as that went last time, I feel that they just want to try out a different map type maybe. Which one it is going to be, that's for another question. So we'll see what we're gonna get.
I could very easily see another control map control map coming through from Butterfly Effect. They had quite a bit of success on Lijiang Gardens when we got to play it. So something like Oasis, where Icy Suspect again has the chance to play the Pharah, would, in my mind, be a reasonable pick here.
I suppose it's possible. It's not out of the realm of possibility, obviously. Let's see. They take a long time to decide, so they're a bit torn themselves. That's usually, it can mean two things. Either is, you know, also talking a bit about what they need to change, which is, you know, they need to change something apparently, and it's also about, you know, just in general having to do something about their, you know, what are they gonna pick, what are they gonna ban, what else is gonna happen? You know, because if you pick a map, you can also already talk about what should be banned on this map. Because maybe the D.Va is not as important there. Right. Although that might be an understatement, because I think D.Va might be important everywhere. Yeah. Okay,
we're headed to Anubis.
2CP, Assault, lovely game mode. I actually don't mind 2CP. A lot of people will be, might be mad at me about that, but like I said, I have a little bit more of a problem with Control currently in the state of the game. So, you know, the problems that we have with 2CP, you know, outside of the spawn advantage, etc., mostly have to do with the way we play the game. So, you know, if you queue into competitive, you're not inclined to do a lot of teamwork, or at least most of your teammates won't be. And that not being incentivized, it might be a bigger problem than you know, their spawn being close, because, you know, that's how that works. But
definitely, and especially when we're talking about. Especially when we're talking about kind of high-level competitive play like this, you know, where we've got teams who are practiced and coordinated and, of course, trying to use teamwork. You know, I don't find the problems with 2CP to be nearly as pronounced. The never-ending stall is a lot harder to pull off when we're talking about teams that can focus down targets really quickly and, you know, make things happen towards the end of these maps. Prevent the the defender's spawn advantage from really bearing itself out. But now BarahNation going to be saving Sombra this time around.
Sombra's been happening on defense and on offense, both of them. It's always been a map where it's one of those maps where she has been run in the past, even in the early days before reworks, etc. came in. So it's definitely a map that can work out very well for her. But it does open up the possibility of maybe banning Lucio. Again, though, we saw how the D.Va ban was beneficial, but also not beneficial at the same time to Butterfly Effect. So they choose not to go for that. So they banned the Widowmaker. And I think if you ban the Widowmaker, that will again sort of say we're likely to just run the Pharah. Because if they don't have the Widowmaker, then the Pharah is going to be fine. You can just we can be there on the defense and on the offense. Doesn't really have to work about that many angles. Sure, you still have McCree and Ashe, but they're not as threatening to a Pharah. And it always feels like they also need a little bit more protection because they have to walk with the team. So splash damage will hit them as well. Might be an intelligent ban. It might just come back to haunt them. But they haven't really shown that much interest in playing Widow themselves. So I think this is a little bit of a safer pick for them as what to ban.
Yeah, I'm kind of in my mind anticipating BarahNation coming out with another bunker setup on their defense, at least for the first point.
That's gonna happen. I mean, we might even see some Junkrat because
right.
I think MD play that on defense and Iconwald at some point.
Don't take him off the Roadhog. Like just don't do that. Like
I mean, maybe. I mean, anyone could go on the Junkrat, to be honest. I mean, what do you really? I think it was Chinese Food maybe that went on the Roadhog. On Junkrat, I don't know. At least I think Chinese Food might actually run this Baptiste. I think that's possible, and then they could go for a Bastion as well, but they're not going to do that because
they've got the makings of goats right now, pretty much.
They're still standing in spawn. Like, the only ones that are out of spawn right now are the Baptiste, D.Va, and Zarya. So that is definitely the makings of a 3-3. But they'll run the Baptiste instead of the Brigitte. And I think that's fine. The way Anubis is played, generally the Brigitte doesn't get as much value on defense. Baptiste can just shoot down healing from above, just like Zenyatta can, and do extra damage, uses utility. And of course, that's a beautiful shooting gallery you have there. You can manage to stay on that platform and use your ultimate.
Okay, well, finally now Butterfly Effect are kind of getting the matchup they want. This is what you want to play quad DPS into. You want to see the goats on the other side because this is what your comp is kind of designed to deal with. But BarahNation rotating up to the high ground, they want to take this fight as close to the point as possible, not give Butterfly Effect the chance to wrap around.
They will have a much harder time dealing with the Trollity on the Wrecking Ball this time, though. No Sombra, no Brigitte, no stuns whatsoever. So the point contest can actually be a lot easier, and the fact that they're splitting up now is going to actually put their supports in such a hard position.
Yeah, they don't have their tanks up on the high ground anymore, and Chinese Food goes down early to that slam from a Trollity. This time, Butterfly Effect switching up who is playing what roles. They've got a new main tank, and the Trollity is wreaking havoc right now. As you said, BarahNation just getting way too scattered on that defense, and they're slowly getting whittled down.
The main characteristic of 3-3 is you stick together. Your AoE healing works, Baptiste healing does a lot, Zenyatta is protected, everything happens, but no, the tanks go downstairs, the healers stay upstairs. I mean, I'm already amazed that Switch even got that kill on Icy Suspect. Like, I think that sort of shows that Butterfly Effect is just less practiced in the way they play these compositions, but I mean, that was just a misplay, and they really capitalized on it properly. I like the way that they dealt with that. But now Potato, Chinese Food, going over to the Wrecking Ball counters. They have a lot of ultimates, though. That EMP could just be the detriment to them.
Well, this time, a Trollity tries to go in for the slam, gets hacked up, and deleted immediately as BarahNation swarm over the Wrecking Ball. They do, hold off Butterfly Effect for now, but the attackers are going to be coming back with 5 and nearly 6 ults.
Yeah, they need to be ready for the hack on a Trollity. If a Trollity gets hacked when he tries to go in, that's when everything seems to go wrong for them. A Trollity needs to stay alive on the Wrecking Ball, and then they can just attack and kill them all.
And this time he goes onto the point early, gets hacked up yet again, but this time manages to get out with his life. Maybe, nope, they hunt him down. And again, it's just BarahNation changing things up, going over to the Sombra, going over to the more mobile dive tanks, and they seem to have kind of completely shut down what Butterfly Effect want to do.
You have 4 DPS, you have 1 tank, and you have 1 healer. And if AC Fan or Atrocity go down, most of your push is stymied. AC Fan needs to be able to heal people. It needs to be able to do that. You know, it has that proper Valkyrie mode, which can just heal everyone in the same area. But Potato is just behind them again. Already has that EMP up. And Atrocity needs to get in without being hacked now. It looks like Potato isn't quite there to hack.
He does get the mines off in the back line, but they don't really amount to much as Potato takes down Bam Bam. Finally, some kills coming through here for Butterfly Effect. They get the res on Icy Suspect as well. Both support outs now for BarahNOW. Using the Sound Barrier does manage to take down Dirty Prince. Wolf is gone as well. And with only the Mercy here to heal them, Butterfly Effect don't seem to have the sustainability to keep this fight going for too long. And now AC Fan gets chased down by the Primal Raging Crimson. And again, Butterfly Effect getting pushed back.
And they needed to get that EMP off. But Potato has been so good at counteracting that Sombra. And it's just every hero they pick, every hero they ban, it seems that BarahNation is just better on the composition they run. It doesn't even have to be a mirror matchup, but they're just better. And sometimes that happens. They have the coordination. Even NB2 going back over to that Roadhog. And I don't know. Oh no, just switch back to the D.Va. Okay. They're not going to be that bad to them, but NB2 back on that Roadhog would have been the real, nail in the coffin. Just saying, we're just better. We're gonna run the Roadhog, even though it's a suboptimal pick. But
yeah, it looks like they're setting up to use goats after Potato throws in the EMP.
Gonna happen.
He's waiting, and that should be an easy fight win for BarahNation. Hard for Butterfly Effect to overcome this one. Potato throws it down, hits 5 members, and the cleanup is easy street for BarahNation. They just roll over Butterfly Effect. And Icy Suspect, the only one still really fighting at this point. He goes down, and now we're on to a much more kind of standard matchup. MD going over to the Mei.
Yeah, they're not even at an old advantage now because they switched over sooner. They're still at an ultimate disadvantage because they lost that fight so decisively. No, they don't have a shatter. They don't have a rally. MD is already on the Mei. He's already racking up that percentage from, well, because icicles do a lot of damage. It's so far forward now. Takes down AC Fan from up there. That's just insane. MD2 needs to stop, I feel. I think they just play fair,
Yeah, he's just being mean at this point. Butterfly is like trying to have fun here, and he's just not having it. He's not letting it happen. They continue to stay on their backs at all times. Bam Bam cannot escape. Gonna get staggered out pretty brutally here in the end in that Baby D.Va form, but we do have a pause coming through. It looks like our attackers, Butterfly Effect, lost one of their members.
That'll probably be quickly resolved. Good to have that auto DC pause function in the custom games. That's something they've done well, so I'm happy. But we'll see. It's definitely going to be a. They still have 245. They got almost 50% on the counter here, so it is something. They haven't really completely failed their attack, but it doesn't look good for them. They're at a complete disadvantage. The main thing they need to do is they need to drag out these ultimates from the defense. They need to drag out more than the defense wants to use. If BarahNation is allowed to use one ultimate to win a fight, then they're going to be in a bad position for the coming 2 minutes 40.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Butterfly Effect, Wolf dropping out there does reset his ultimate, which means he's going to be way out of sync with the rest of his team. They were getting close. They were, in a position where they were going to get all 6 ultimates, at about the same time. But now he's back at 0%, so going to have to start from scratch as he tries to lead his team in there. They're waiting for Bam Bam to get his mech back before they really go in here.
I don't know what's happening here.
They're going to wrap around the left side, try a little bit of a different avenue of approach, but right now MD just wrapping around the back, firing in icicles from behind, making life difficult for them. Now half of their team gets put behind the wall. Wolf gonna be focused down immediately. The sound barrier from Atrocity, just a split second too late to save the main tank, and there's nothing that Butterfly Effect can do at that point to turn the fight around.
Yeah, and they're just trading out the exact same ultimates, both sound barriers, both rallies. And at that point, they're never going to be in an advantage position ever. I mean, they don't have the shatter up, so the only advantage that they have on the defense is that they have a shatter. You know, that's their one up. But there is a Grav self-destruct combo. There's a Transcendence on both sides. There's no self-destruct obviously on the defense, but you know, a Graviton and a Blizzard are just as deadly, if not more deadly in most situations. And again, AC Fan, I mean, you cannot keep not standing behind a shield when you have MD shooting from up there. Come on.
Yeah, and this is becoming a bit of a pattern here for Butterfly Effect. They can't even seem to really, you know, get a clean engagement off. And now we're down to 1 minute. They took point A pretty darn quickly, and that massive time bank has been, you know, slowly but surely depleted over the course of this defense, and BarahNation look fully in control right now. Another wall catches out Wolf.
At some point, you gotta know they're running that Mei. You gotta just either switch to something else, or you gotta do something else. But you know, baiting a Mei wall is not the hardest thing in the world, so they haven't really been able to do it so far. It's just been a bait of their existence, to be honest. But MD has been that in general, like whether it's on the Roadhog or on the Mei or on or anything else that he's played, it's just been hard. It's been so hard for Butterfly Effect.
And now they're down to their last chance to take something here on point B. Both teams caught up in the grab. The Blizzard, though, out from the side of BarahNation. They can't secure any kills through AC Fan's Transcendence, but the Earth Shatter is there at the end to make sure that they're going to be able to keep this defense going, and absolutely nothing doing for Butterfly Effect. They get completely shut down on that final attempt, and BarahNation come away with a very solid defensive hold.
That final attempt, not completely shut down. They did get 0.9% extra, you know, on what they already had. So not a complete waste of a last attack, but, you know, that's not what you want. You just want to actually get in and have a proper fight on the objective. But they never got that chance because they can't get past the Mei. And sometimes the Mei is all you need. It's apparently what we're going to see here. But it's still possible. Like it's always possible to Overwatch. You haven't been full held. You actually got some percentage taking on the second point, so they could do the exact same to BarahNation here, but just not let them get any percentage on the second point. They could even just full hold them on first. Like it's possible, but seeing as the maps have been gone so far, I don't want to jinx it, obviously, but it seems a bit hard. I would say impossible, but. You know, there's these odds calculations that you do sometimes, and I think if people would bet on this would be very, very good odds if you want to bet against, you know, BarahNation here. Yeah,
most definitely. They have looked in control the entire night. Have never really been pushed too hard. Butterfly Effect have had their moments. But once it came down to that second point here on Anubis, they just couldn't really find a way to crack through. So now they're going to have to do it on their own defense. They've got to come up with something very impressive here. And they are going to rely on an Orisa setup this time around. Icy Suspect picking up the Junkrat. We teased it earlier. That's a really strong pick here on Anubis. Makes it difficult to really even get through these choke points.
He's already shooting out those nades straight away. Genji going over the side. This is classic Genji on Anubis. We just go around that that market stall side. We'll go over the back. You know, try to get that entire flank. Obviously, can climb over walls, go through windows. But he's gonna try to get on one of these backline squishies, and it does look like he's getting the damage in.
He takes down Icy Suspect, so they trade the mech for a kill, and that's probably a decent situation for BarahNation. They get a Trollity, trying to go for an ambitious res there. Chinese Food takes him down, gives his life for it, so still possible to turn this around for Butterfly Effect. They've got this amplification matrix there, kind of powering them up. The immortality field is going to make sure no one falls, even as they go low. And they should be able to stabilize here, but, you know, enemies on all sides.
Crimson is above them, and they have someone behind them. I don't know how a trolley is going to get back safely, because everything is blocked off. There's no one to fly to, and that EMP will just shut everything down here.
Yeah, they've got no chance to save this fight at this point. Just too much damage flowing in from BarahNation, and they are going to get a quick recontest in. They know that they have the spawn advantage here on point A. They take full advantage of it, and Potato's EMP is more than enough for them to push through.
And that's why they saved the Sombra. They were maybe expecting bunker-style composition, so they just wanted to get the Sombra out. Potato trying to get very far forward, trying to maybe cap a little bit of percentage. Not going to happen here, but there's the blade.
It takes down Dirty Prince, and Chinese Food going for more. He's in the back. He's on to AC Fan. Icy Suspect falls as well. 3 kills, not answered, but Wolf manages to take down Potato. But still, BarahNation looking firmly in control. Can they close this out? It's just a Trollity there on the point. He's hit with the Biotic Grenade, and Dirty Prince is getting gang tackled by the members of BarahNation. That is going to be it, as BarahNation take a pretty easy win here on Anubis and close out the series 3-0.
3-0 here for BarahNation. Yeah, I think the hero bans and picks didn't even matter that much in this series. I think no matter what map they would have gone to, no matter what hero would have been picked or banned, it would all been a very similar outcome. It was just it was an outskill match, and you have those sometimes. It happens. You know, it happens in Overwatch League as well, and it doesn't necessarily have to do with the individual skill of some players. It's usually just the way that teams play together. Maybe the meta just favors them a little bit more. Could also be that BarahNation's actually been together for longer, so their coordination's more on point. It's all these things that you have to take into account when you look at a match like this. And sure, it was a rather convincing win for BarahNation, but it's not over for the other side. Butterfly Effect does have another chance. They're gonna go to the lower bracket, and they have a chance to actually come back in, and they'll actually have to play their next match against the loser of our next series. It's gonna happen at about 9 p.m. So we'll have a little bit of a break after this one, but we're first gonna be doing a post-match interview with so we got to get that set up. But yeah, players at the match. I think we had an MVP poll up, but no, I don't think I really have to say who I would probably vote for, because I think it was pretty clear.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be MD. Dude was just on fire. No matter what he played, the May, the Roadhog, he was absolutely a monster. And speak of the devil, and he shall appear. It looks like we've got MD here for the post-match interview.
Hello, what's up?
How you doing? That was a really impressive showing from you guys.
Hell yeah, team played very well. It was very good.
So what went to your head, like when Icon Wall happened? Because they banned the D.Va, you say the Lucio. I know we're pretty standard picks and bans, I'd say. Do you have like a standard thing that you say, okay, D.Va's banned, so we're gonna go with the Order Carissa, or was it a specific team thing at this point?
That was pretty much a team decision in the moment, since we never really played without a D.Va, but we just assumed they banned D.Va because they were a very DPS heavy team, and seeing as Orisa is very good of pulling DPSs, we just decided to go that. Plus I've been warming up in Hog for the past 4 hours, so I thought, why not?
Yeah, Hog definitely looked well.
Yeah, you were kind of left to your own devices there. You got to flank around a lot. The enemy team, in our eyes, was not paying enough attention to you on those flanks, and it really came through for your team there. So very well done on that side of things. I want to talk a little bit about the May pick that you brought out, both on Lijiang Tower and then for the Anubis defense. Why? What is the decision making for going with that over something like kind of the classic goats, which you might see a little more often on Anubis?
I mean, yeah, so we basically just wanted, especially because Anubis was a very choke heavy 2CP point, so we just thought we could get a little more value out of the May, seen as every single time the Run tries to advance, he's just going to get slowed. I mean, May in general, it's very easy to use May to beat up on goats if the map isn't too open. And then we use May on Control Center because, again, it's very choke heavy, and getting walls there is pretty easy.
I want to ask, how you enjoy kind of the hero and the map bans that we've got going on in this tournament. Is this something that your team has ever had experience with before?
I mean, this is the first time we're playing in a hero ban tournament, and so far it's been fun. I mean, the aspect of saving a hero and banning a hero, but then having to change your whole team comp and strategy based around what hero is banned I think it's great.
We guys definitely fans of the system like to hear it. Were there any specific reasons why you didn't want to play Dorado or Paris?
Nope, no specific reason, not at all.
I mean, that's fine. You know, sometimes you just have maps that you prefer more or prefer less. That's fine. I think we'll all have that personally. I'm a bit sad that Ubani's out of rotation, for instance. So
yeah,
you know, those things happen. But it's
okay. Back now.
Yeah. I mean, are you gonna be watching the next match, because that will definitely determine your next opponent? Obviously, is that something you're doing, or are you just gonna watch the VOD later, or is that something you will do at all, like scout the next team?
I mean, I don't know I think we might watch the next match as well. We might hang on in a death match to stay warm as well, but we'll definitely be ready.
Okay, well, yeah, have fun with that. Thanks for talking to us, and again, congratulations for the for the win, and also happy to announce that you've been voted MVP for the match. So you got
that's
that
fantastic.
Hell
yeah.
Yeah, definitely big turnout in the voting categories there, man. It's you got a lot of them.
Oh, hell yeah. All right, thanks.
Well, we'll see you around. Again, thanks for the games, and thanks for playing. And again, congrats. We'll see you again in the next one. I think your next match is somewhere next week. I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. Could be on the 17th actually. So it is a while away, but that gives you plenty of time to prepare. Get even better at Hog, you know. That's all it's about. But that was the first series of the night. Thank you for the interview, Andy. Always nice to talk to the players. And yeah, we're gonna throw it to a break, because just gonna throw it to a break for a while, because we're gonna be going to the to the next match in less than an hour. I mean, it's not that long. You know, you have time to just get a massage and do some other things, and it's time for a lot of things.
Grab a snack, you know, eat some dinner. You know, gather your friends. Come back for the second match of the day.
Tweet it out.
Should be a heck of a series. We got Skyburn going up against Spirit, and you know, I cannot wait. But that's gonna do it for us here tonight. It's been a pleasure bringing you these games as always. My name is Shy Guy. Joining me has been Man of Class, and of course, it's Refused behind the scenes, making all the magic happen. So thank you for joining us, and have a wonderful night, everybody.
I will see you on the other side of the break.